Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is the first book in what I believe is going to be a YA urban fantasy duology. It takes place in a world where violence and crime manifest physical monsters, which is such a cool idea. Such a cool idea. So there are 3 different kinds of monsters, and they are each manifested and made from violent crime. So the first kind is just from assaults and just violent assaults, and then we have the second kind, which is from murders, and then we have the third kind, which is from mass acts of violence and murder, so mass shootings, bombing, stuff like that. And so your violent actions have repercussions physically. So as far as 2 main characters, our first character is Kate, and she is the daughter of a kind of crime lord of one part of this city, and she is a very kind of savage character. And then we have August, who is actually a monster boy, and their paths eventually cross and everything kind of takes off from there. So first off, I'm gonna talk about the world building. I think the premise of this book is so cool. Like, the world is so good and it's very atmospheric. Like, V.E. Schwab's writing is so good for this, and it just is this really kind of creepy sort of dystopian, but it doesn't have the dystopian feel to it because I'm just really over dystopia in general. So it is like a future version of our society, but it doesn't feel like overly done, and it doesn't feel like a dystopian really. It's kind of almost like a post-apocalyptic sort of world, and everything that happens makes sense. Like, the way that the world and the government works and the way that like people react to these kinds of like violent crimes and stuff like that makes complete sense. So I really enjoyed that element of the story, and just like the whole monster thing and how the monsters are and how they manifest based on the kind of crimes that are committed. Really cool. Next, I'm going to talk about our characters. I adored the characters completely. Victoria Schwab is so good at characters, and she's really good at dual perspectives. I have a lot of doubt about dual perspectives. I love multiple POV stories, but dual perspective can get kind of cloudy because sometimes some authors can't have that like difference in narrative voice thing. She does it so well. Like, it's so well done. I loved both of them for different reasons. Kate is a character I immediately latched onto. She is such a badass, and she's a very savage girl, and she is a result of the brutality of this world and of her family and where she comes from, and she's a girl who's trying to prove herself to a family that is very brutal. And so she makes decisions that don't seem very wise, but they completely make sense, and it's not like, oh my god, why is she doing that? You're just like, that makes sense for her character completely. And I just adore her. She's a very like devil-may-care kind of character. And then we have August, who is such a sweet little baby that I just want to protect. And it's just funny because in the story, you kind of know that probably going in if you know anything about Victoria Schwab, but it's kind of like, who are the monsters really? Because you have like the monster boy who's not that monstrous, and then you have like the girl and the humans who are just very monstrous at times. So August is such a sweet little baby, and they both go through so much, and they both have so much character development just in this one book, and it's all so believable, and I just adored it. And even the side characters are very much fleshed out, like their families or people they run into. Like, there is a character in August's family particularly who I just adore, another female character that I was instantly attached to, and I wish we had like a whole novella about her because I love her so much. I will say that the one slightly weak link to this is the villain kind of antagonist piece. Like, I do like it on one hand, but on the other hand, I felt like it wasn't quite what it could have been, and it just didn't quite hit the mark. Like, it's got so close, but it didn't quite hit the mark. So originally I did give this book a little bit higher of a rating, but I ultimately think I'm going to take it down a small notch just for that. But still so good, but like not quite there, you know? Next, I'm gonna talk about the plot. Again, I felt like the plot was really well done. I could not put this book down. I read the first half of it in one sitting, and then I think I read the next half in another sitting. Like, I completely inhale read this book, and I was reading it while I was playing Dragon Age Inquisition, which, if you guys follow me at all on any social media, I've been talking about a lot, and I'm obsessed. So the fact that I was reading this still in huge chunks while playing that game, like, speaks to how good this was, because I actually wanted to read this instead of playing the game, which is crazy. So if you couldn't already tell, I adored this book, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I initially did give it 5 stars on Goodreads, but I think I'm gonna bump it down just because I'm trying to be really strict with my 5-star ratings, and this one I don't feel quite hit it. So it's like 4.75, honestly. Like, that little villain thing is like a 0.25 star rating down. So 4.75 out of 5 stars. So I am going to be doing a spoiler-filled gush on this, which I will link on the screen, so go and check that out if you've already read it. But comment down below and let me know what you thought of this Savage Song. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all guys soon. Bye!